In this video, we're going to talk about Z transform. Now, before we go to Z transform, I want you to understand the meaning of transform. That whenever you take a transform, you basically convert a time domain signal into a frequency domain signal. Okay. And when we are specifically doing Z transform, okay, the time domain signal is x of n. This is the standard notation. And when you take the Z transform, it becomes x of z. All right. So it's quite evident from here that if it is time domain, okay, the n over here is going to be time. Okay. And in frequency domain, the z is a frequency. And to be precise, this is a complex frequency and it is written in the polar form. So you can also write down z is r e raised to j omega. That's the standard notation of writing z. So basically x of n will become x of z. Now there is one very important point that I want you to understand before I give you the formula, that if you see x of n, okay, do you observe I have drawn a square bracket here? And what that means is this is a discrete time signal. Okay, that's what the square bracket denotes, and this is like standard notation. But if you see this x of z, it's a round bracket, and this round bracket signifies that it is a continuous time signal. Okay, keep that point in mind. Also remember the formula of z. The z is r e raised to j omega. All right, and now we have a standard formula of Z transform. So let me write down the Z transform formula. You have to remember this formula. The formula says x of z is equal to sum will go from n is equal to minus infinity to infinity, and then x of n z raised to minus n. Note the minus n over here. Now let's see the first question where we have x of n, the signal given to us, and we are supposed to find out the Z transform. Of course, we have to find out x of z in this case. But before we start with the solution, I quickly want to explain to you that how does this x of n look like. So if I have to plot x of n, the independent axis here is n, okay? And the values of x of n are 1, 2, 3, 4. I can just plot them graphically. So this is 1, then the next value is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So I've just drawn these values on the graph. Now I want you to also observe that this n axis has got this as an origin. So this is n equal to 0 over here, n equal to 1, 2, and 3. Also, we can read a signal like this. When I say x of n at n is equal to 0, okay, I'll just simply put n0 in here. Okay, so this will become x of 0. And you tell me what is the value of x of n at n equal to 0. The value of x of n is 1, right? So x of 0 is equal to 1. Okay, this will be our notation we'll be using. So I just wanted to make that thing very clear. Let me do one more. What if I want to find out x of n at n equal to 1? Now it's a value of x of n when n is 1. N is 1 over here. Then the value of x of n is 2, right? So I write this as x of 1. I just plug in that n as 1 and x of 1 is 2. So on and so forth. I can keep doing for the later samples also, but I hope you get the point. Now, once we get that, now we should start solving for Z transform. And we have a Z transform formula. So let me write down by Z transform formula. This is the standard formula, which says x of z, okay, note that I'm drawing round brackets for z, is equal to sum of n is equal to minus infinity to infinity. So we'll take all the range of n from minus infinity to plus infinity. And then this is x of n, z raised to minus n. Now in the standard formula, the point that I want you to understand that in case of our signal x of n, okay, do you see everything else has got 0 values? Like before 0, before this point, everything was 0. And after 3, every value is also 0. So in our case, the n will only go from 0 to 3. So I will take the range of n from 0 to 3. And that's the case with the first question, the x of n that we have right now. So the applicable range of n is going to be 0 to 3, and we'll substitute those values over here. Okay, and then we'll get the answer for x of z. Let's just write down x of z now. So x of z will become let's put values. Put n equal to 0 first. So this will be x of 0, z raised to 0, and it's a summation sign. So we'll write down plus in between. And now next value is going to be x equal to 1. Sorry, the n equal to 1. So this will become x of 1. Z raised to n becomes 1. So this is minus 1. Then let's put n equal to 2. This is x of 2, z raised to minus 2. And then x of 3, z raised to minus 3. That's your x of z expression. Now, as soon as you get this, please understand z raised to 0, this term is going to be 1. Anything raised to 0 is 1. And do you see x of 0 is 1? You can see that here, right? And next is x of 1, which is 2. So let's plug that value here. X of 1 is 2. Now x of 2 is 3 and x of 3 is 4. I hope you get that part. And then I'll write down x of z as 1 plus, this is 2z inverse plus 3z raised to minus 2 plus 4z raised to minus 3. And that's it. This is the final answer. Okay. So we have just found out the z transform, and the z transform is over here. Okay. But now there is one very important point that I want you to understand, that after I find z transform, this is value over here, x of z, I want you to understand that this answer will be, I mean, if your x of z is going to be this answer, you should make sure your z never becomes 0. Because just in case z becomes 0, your z raised to minus 1 by 3, this term will become not defined, right? And if this becomes infinity, the whole thing becomes infinity, and then this answer just collapses. So if your z should never become 0, and that's the point that you have to make sure that your z should never become 0. And now this condition is called as ROC. The full form of this term is region of convergence. We're going to talk about ROC in great detail later on because it is a very important concept. So as of now, you can just understand ROC is a condition such that your Z transform answer is defined. And it is a practice that you write down ROC on a Z plane. Now I'll show you how is the Z plane. Now I already told you that Z is R e raised to j omega. So it is basically a complex number. To be very precise, it is complex frequency. And because it is a complex frequency, it's a complex number, it will be two-dimensional. Okay, so this will be a real and this will be a imaginary. But instead of writing it in terms of x and iy, that is how you usually write down complex number, we write it as r e raised to j omega. Okay, and this form is called as a polar form. So we write it in the polar form, and in the polar form, this will be in the form of a circles. So I will say that z is not equal to 0. Z equal to 0 is going to be this area, right? This is the origin, little exaggerated, but then this is the z equal to 0 area, and except z equal to 0, the entire z plane, plane or 2D plane is going to be your ROC, or a region of convergence. Now, there is just one point that I want you to note, that this is the place, or this is the point where your x of z is not defined. And I hope you can understand it's not a good thing. So let me highlight that by a sad face there. And everything else is good, right? So if your value is not 0, okay, anything apart from 0 is good. Okay, and that basically means the region of convergence. Okay, and you can assume that ROC as a good region of Z plane. And there are so many things about ROC we have to talk, but this is just the first question. So I hope you followed how this is done. Now let us solve one more question. And the second question is x of n is equal to 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hey, do you see the values are all same? Now I'm just going to give you a little twist to this, that what if I write down an arrow here? Okay. Now I just wanted to emphasize on this arrow notation. Okay. Whenever we write down arrow here, this simply means this value is n equal to 0. So if I have to plot this x of n now, it is going to be n versus x of n, and the value here is 1. Then this value is 2. This is 3, and this is 4. Okay, so the x of n sequence start from -1, 0, 1, and 2. These are going to be the values of n. Okay, and that's how the sequence is different. So now we will see what answer we get after we find out a Z transform for this question. So the steps are going to be very similar. So let us start with the solution now. The first thing you will do is write down Z transform formula. So by Z transform formula, this is a standard formula, x of z is equal to sum of n equal to minus infinity to infinity. This is x of n z raised to minus n. Now, if you see in our case, in case of the signal that we have here, the x of n, the n is going from -1 to 2. So this will be going from -1 to +2. I hope you get that. And then we'll put these values in this equation and execute the sum as well. So I'll get x of z is equal to, let me write this down now, x of z is equal to n equal to -1. In this expression we'll substitute. So this will be x of -1 z raised to +1. Then let's put next value as n equal to 0. This is x of 0 z raised to 0. Then the next value is x of 1 z raised to -1. And this is x of 2. That's the last value. The last value of n is 2. You can see n is going from -1 to 2. So x of 2 z raised to -2. Once we do that, we have to find out now these numbers. What is the value of x of -1? Now, if you see at -1, the value of x of n is just 1. Now, this value here, so this is 1. Then x of 0 simply means x of n when n is 0. When n is 0, the x of n value is 2. This is 2. I hope you get the drill. This is going to be 3. And this is the 4. So finally, I get the value of x of z. Let me write that down. X of z is going to be z plus, this is 2, and z raised to 0 is just 1. This value is 1. So it is z plus 2 plus 3 z inverse plus 4 z raised to -3. And this is the answer for x of z. So we have actually solved the problem and we've got the value of x of z as well. But whenever you find the z transform, you always have to check the feasibility. The feasibility in a sense, right now, do you understand that z should not become 0? Because if z becomes 0, do you see z inverse sitting here? Now this term will become infinity. So infinity plus everything will become infinity and x of z will become not defined when z is 0. So z should not be 0. And then there is one more point you have to understand. Z should not be infinity as well. Because if z becomes infinity, then this term will become infinity. And if this becomes infinity, the whole thing that is added to infinity is going to be 0. I'm sorry, it's going to be infinity. So we don't want z to be 0 and we don't want z to be infinity. Okay. Now, how do we portray that or show that on the z plane? As I said, z plane is a two-dimensional complex plane. And let us denote 0 at the origin over here. That's a 0. Okay. And now how do we show infinity? We can't really show infinity on the small screen. The screen is not infinite. But let us assume these lines are at infinity. Okay, so let me write down all these lines are at infinity. And all the area inside infinity and outside 0 is the shaded region. We always show our ROC by shaded region. So this is what I'm going to call it as ROC. So let me highlight this better, that this point here is z equal to infinity. And when you say z equal to infinity, that implies the value of x of z is not defined, and it's not a good thing. And also over here, when you say when z becomes 0, okay, then also in that case, when z is 0, you notice this, z inverse will become infinity. So we don't want z to be 0 as well. And that also gives you x of z infinity. And that is also a bad thing. So let me write down a statement for this. And the statement is ROC is except at origin, okay, this place, and infinity. So apart from origin and infinity, the entire z plane is a good region. So we are calling this as ROC and denoted it by this shading over here. I hope you basically followed how we use the z transform formula for simple sequences, okay, and how do we write down ROC as well.